Hi, it's Wendy, and today's quick tip of the day is all about how to deal with somebody who keeps interrupting you in the workplace. Now, as I'm not talking about my husband today, but perhaps you have experienced this, and they might be a great colleague, but they keep interrupting you, and it is causing problems. Then it is something that you need to address. So I'll give you some tips on how to deal with that. So obviously, dealing with it, you need to choose the right time and place. So find a suitable time and a place to address the issue with the person directly who's interrupting you. So choose, I would say, a neutral place, perhaps even not within the workforce itself, where you can have a private and uninterrupted conversation. The second tip is to stay calm and polite and professional. So approach this not in a blaming and in an angry way, but in a very calm and composed and respectful manner. So try to avoid being confrontational or being aggressive or even passive aggressive, and just keep things very calm, because if you take that heated emotion into the meeting, it could likely escalate things. So express your concerns, express them very clearly and politely, and explain how the interruptions are actually impacting on your work and on your productivity. Use I statements, so statements that start with an I rather than statements that start with you, as in a very accusing way. So these sorts of statements come from you rather than accusing the other person. So for example, look, I find it difficult to concentrate when I'm frequently interrupted, rather than you are causing me no end of problems when you constantly interrupt. So do you get my drift? You start with the I in the sentence rather than the you, which is accusatory. Okay, the next tip is to provide some specific examples. So, if someone is having this conversation, they will want to know, well, when does this happen? I mean, be specific. When can you give examples? So share specific instances where this has happened, and only when the interruptions have been disruptive. So, there might be times when you welcome the interruption from the other person. There may be other times, more specific times, under specific circumstances or in specific contexts, where the interruption is actually quite disruptive and not helpful. So this, by giving those very specific examples, it helps the other person understand exactly where the issue lies and the impact their actions are having on you. Explain your need for focus. Let them know that you do need to have some very concentrated time, that it is something that does affect your productivity and your ability to get through a task. So clarify, what that is. So that will help them understand why and where you need to have those uninterrupted periods in order for you to get better results. The next thing is to set some boundaries. So if possible, offer some alternatives for the communication. So some scheduling regular check-ins, using messaging tools for non-urgent matters. So this will show your willingness to stay connected. It's not like you're saying, look, I don't want to ever hear from you again. No, you're not doing that. You're just simply letting them know that at this moment, under these circumstances, it's not helpful, it's not appropriate or suitable, but perhaps at this time it would be. Ask for their perspective. So, turn it around. This can be a sharing and learning experience for the two of you. So give the person a chance to share their side of the story. There is always two sides to a story. So they may not be aware of the impact they're making on you when they do interrupt you. They may have some reasons that you're not aware of that might be quite valid and quite important. So, and you need to know know about that. By being aware of their side of the story, it'll help you come to, a mutually beneficial solution. And that leads to my next point: collaborate on a solution. So it shouldn't always just be, listen, you're going to do it this way and that's how it's going to be, end of conversation. Collaborate on it, look at ways where you can work together to find a solution that meets both your needs, that focuses your time, but also allows them to communicate when they need to do that. So you're finding designated times for discussions, or maybe even using particular signals to indicate that you're busy or that you're free for the discussion. Offer positive reinforcement. So if the interruptions do decrease, if after you've had the conversation, the person does take on board what you've said, acknowledge that. Express your appreciation and gratitude that they have taken that on board, that they have been intelligent about it, and that they have shown respect for you and for your work time. If the interruptions do persist and it is becoming quite difficult, then it could be time to, involve a manager or a supervisor and look at some other more permanent ways to resolve this issue. And I do finish by saying practice self-care. It is important that you do, take some time to practice self-care and to take care of your own well-being. So using techniques like breathing techniques, relaxation, mindfulness, taking breaks. So perhaps, you do need to take those breaks, and during those breaks, you can catch up with other people and manage any stress from those interruptions as they may arise. So just remember, open and respectful communication is the key to resolving the issue. So approach it with the intention of finding a solution, one that you can collaborate on together, that is mutually beneficial for all concerned.